Confidence is not a crown you're born with. It's a crown you choose to wear. And the best part? You don't have to wait for someone to hand it to you. You teach yourself. You train your mind. You walk through fire if you have to. Because darling, confidence isn't magic. It's muscle. And today, we build it. Confidence is a skill, not a gift. No one is born confident. Not the CEOs, not the superstars, not even the boldest women you see walking into rooms like they own the place. Confidence isn't inherited, it's earned. And the sooner you stop waiting to feel it and start working to build it, the sooner you'll walk into your own power. Think about a child learning to ride a bicycle. Wobbly at first, scared, clumsy butt. Every fall makes them stronger. Every scraped knee is a lesson. That's how confidence works. You don't wake up with it. You grow it. You teach yourself to balance on your own 2 feet even when life tries to knock you down. And the more you do it, the more natural it becomes. Imagine your first presentation at work. Palms sweaty, voice shaking, heart racing like a drum in your chest. That's not a lack of confidence. It's just newness. It's your mind saying, I don't know how to do this yet. But the moment you say, I'll do it anyway, you've already begun training your confidence muscle. Because confidence is not about being fearless, it's about moving forward with the fear. Now look at a woman walking into a crowded room where nobody knows her. She's not born with the ability to command attention. She has taught herself how to hold her chin up, how to own her space, how to smile even when she's nervous inside. She's taught herself that silence doesn't mean shame, that stillness can mean strength, that eye contact is a weapon, and posture is armor. And here's something, while confidence can be taught even through what you wear. Yes, your style is a tool. Ever tried putting on a killer outfit when you were feeling down? You don't just look better, you feel better. That's not superficial, that's science. Your brain responds to how you present yourself. When you show up looking like you belong, the world starts to believe it too. You can train your mind through simple, repeated acts. Good posture, direct speech, clear intention. These are not gifts, they're habits. Think about athletes. Before they perform, they visualize winning. They don't hope for confidence. They build it mentally rehearsing every move until their brain believes it's already been done. That's a lesson right there. Don't wait to feel ready. Teach yourself readiness. Stand in front of the mirror and practice your power stance. Practice your pitch. Practice saying no without apologizing. That's how you rewire your system. Even in relationships, confidence is built, not given. Ever stayed in a relationship longer than you should have just because you were scared of being alone? That's not weakness, that's training. You were taught to believe your worth is tied to someone else's validation, but you can unteach that. You can wake up one morning, look at your reflection and say, I deserve more. That one decision builds confidence faster than any quote on Instagram ever will. Confidence isn't loud either. Sometimes it's soft. Sometimes it's sitting in a meeting and deciding not to speak just to prove something, but to speak when it actually matters. Sometimes it's walking away from drama without needing to be right. Sometimes it's choosing peace over popularity. Confidence is taught in micro moments, like saying I don't know in a room full of experts and not feeling ashamed. Like asking for help without feeling weak. Like correcting someone when they mispronounce your name because your identity matters. You don't need to be aggressive, you just need to be aware of your value. Confidence is built when you treat yourself like someone you love, when you honor your time, when you protect your energy, when you remind yourself every single day that you belong in every room you walk into, even if your legs are shaking, because your voice matters, your story matters, and nobody can teach it better than you. The mirror is your first battlefield. Every morning, you wake up and face a war with the world, not with society, not with your enemies, but with your own reflection. That mirror doesn't lie, it doesn't flatter you. It doesn't filter your scars, your insecurities, or your self-doubt. It shows you exactly what you feel about yourself when no one's watching. And that is where confidence is born or broken. You think confidence starts when people clap for you? number. Confidence starts in the quiet moment when you can look yourself in the eyes and say, I am enough. And most days that's the hardest sentence to say. Because the world has conditioned you to look for flaws, not fire. To search for cellulite, not strength. To count wrinkles instead of wisdom. But if you win the war in front of the mirror, no one out there can shake you. Think about a woman trying on clothes before a big event. She puts on the dress, stands in front of the mirror, and suddenly the war begins. She pinches her stomach, frowns at her thighs, criticizes her arms. She starts thinking, maybe I should change. Maybe this isn't it. But if she could silence that voice, just for a moment, and say, this is me, bold, beautiful, and unapologetic, she wouldn't just change the outfit, she'd change her life. Your mirror holds power. It reflects not only what you are, but what you believe you are. And if your belief is broken, your reflection becomes a battleground. That's why so many people avoid eye contact with themselves. They smile for the camera, but can't face their own gaze. Why? Because deep down they haven't forgiven themselves for their past, or they've convinced themselves they're not worthy of love, of success, of peace. But the truth is, that mirror is waiting for you to show up with grace, not judgment. Confidence doesn't grow when people compliment you. It grows when you can stand naked in front of a mirror, stripped of makeup, titles, followers, filters, and still say, I like who I am becoming. That's where the revolution starts. That's where your crown gets adjusted not on your head but in your heart. Now imagine a young girl practicing a speech in front of her bathroom mirror. Her hands are shaking, her voice is cracking, but she repeats those lines anyway. Again and again. Not because she's confident, but because she's becoming confident. That's what we don't talk about. Enough confidence isn't something you find, it's something you build, and often that construction site is the space between your mirror and your mind. Even when you're getting ready for a job interview, the mirror is the place you either hype yourself up or tear yourself down. You can look at yourself and say, I don't think I'm qualified. Or you can say, I've worked for this. I belong here. Let's go win. And that sentence, that energy, it will walk into the room before you do. You see, the mirror is a truth teller. But the voice you hear while you're looking, that's the programming you've internalized over the years. And the good news? You can rewrite it. You can look yourself dead in the eye and reprogram the dialogue. You are not your past. You are not your trauma. You are not what they called you. You are what you decide you are starting today. It's like training a muscle, stand there, eye to eye, talk to your reflection like it's your best friend. Tell her she's capable. Tell her she's radiant. Tell her she doesn't need to be fixed, she needs to be celebrated. And slowly over time, the girl in the mirror stops being your enemy and starts becoming your greatest ally. That's why the mirror is your first battlefield. Because once you win that fight, every other room, every other voice, every other challenge feels like background noise. Confidence grows in silence, not applause. We've been conditioned to believe that confidence looks like someone on a stage, standing in the spotlight, getting a standing ovation. But let me tell you something raw and real. True confidence is built in the shadows. It's not forged in the noise of the crowd, but in the stillness of your struggle. It grows not when people cheer for you, but when no one is watching, and you keep showing up anyway. Think about a dancer rehearsing alone in an empty studio. There's no music, no claps, no praise, just her, the mirror, and the sound of her breath. She messes up, falls, stumbles, but keeps going. That moment, that silence, it is sacred. Because that's where she decides, I will not give up, even if no one's watching me win. That is the moment confidence begins. It's not when the lights come on, it's the hours in the dark before they do. Confidence is what you develop when you study for an exam late at night, while everyone else is asleep, when there's no trophy promised, no one to say, I'm proud of you, but you still pour your soul into the preparation, because you want to be your best. That kind of dedication doesn't need validation. That's self-respect in motion. And when you meet yourself in that place, In that silence, that's where your spirit starts to rise. People think confidence is loud. Number ego is loud. Insecurity is loud. Real confidence is calm. It doesn't need to announce itself. It doesn't need permission to exist. It's the girl who walks into a room and doesn't need to dominate it, she just belongs there. It's the man who doesn't need to shout over others, she's presence speaks for itself. Confidence whispers, I know who I am, even in the face of chaos. Think of someone learning to speak after years of being silenced, maybe by fear, maybe by abuse, maybe by society, telling them their voice doesn't matter. That first time they speak up, it's not in front of a crowd. It's in a journal, or in prayer, or in the bathroom mirror. That whisper, that crack in the silence, that's not weakness. That's the beginning of power. Applause didn't give them that moment. Courage did. Remember when you started something new? A business, a passion, a side hustle? There was no crowd cheering for you in those early days. Just you, your doubts, and your dream. The orders were slow. The progress was invisible. But you still moved. That's confidence. Not waiting for permission to believe in yourself. Creating your own rhythm when no one's clapping along. Because the truth is, applause is always late. It shows up after you've already built something in the dark. Mothers grow confidence in silence too. You think raising a child earns you applause? Number. It's 3 a.m. Feedings, cleaning up messes, sacrificing your sleep, your body, your time all without anyone saying, you're amazing. But they keep going. That's not just love. That's quiet confidence. That's the kind of strength no award can touch. Even healing grows this way. Someone recovering from heartbreak doesn't stand on a stage and announce their pain. They cry in silence. They learn to trust again quietly. They delete the number. They block, they walk away, they rebuild and they don't tell the world. That's confidence too. The choice to move forward without needing to post it, prove it, or perform it. Confidence isn't about how loud your success sounds. It's about how solid your steps are when no one else hears them. It's not when the world applauds you. It's when you applaud yourself for the small victories, the invisible wins, the unseen battles. That's the kind of confidence no one can give you and no one can take away. Every no you hear is a chance to say yes to yourself. Rejection. That one word we all dread. But let me tell you the truth, most people never understand. Every no from the world is a secret invitation from life asking, will you choose yourself anyway? You can either let it break you or let it build you. Because rejection isn't always redirection. From others it's a revelation of your own power. Think about a girl who applies for her dream job. She's polished her resume, rehearsed her answers, dressed in her best confidence. But after all that effort, the email comes in. We've decided to move forward with other candidates. Rejected. Again. Now most people would crumble. But what if instead she reads that no and says, okay, maybe they couldn't see my worth, but I do. I'll try again and again until someone does her, until I build my own table. That right there. That choice to keep believing, that's the yes, that changes everything. Every no you hear is a mirror. It asks, do you only love yourself when others approve? Or can you clap for yourself when no one else does? When you get turned down, when you're left out, when they say, you're not what we're looking for, that's your moment to say, but I'm exactly what I'm looking for. Even in relationships, the same truth echoes. Someone walks away. Someone says, you're not enough for me. And it hurts. God, it hurts. But there's a voice beneath the pain that whispers, maybe it's not about being enough for them. Maybe it's time to be everything to myself. That's not ego. That's healing. That's choosing yourself over the crumbs of someone else's confusion. Picture a young man auditioning for acting roles. He goes from door to door, stage to stage, script to script, not the right fit. It's brutal. But in that storm of rejection, He starts filming his own monologues, posting his own scenes, writing his own parts. Until one day, he's not asking for a role, he's creating the spotlight. That never happens if he waits for someone else to say yes. That power comes from turning every no into fuel. And let's not forget the everyday moments too. A woman's idea gets shot down in a meeting. They ignore her input. They talk over her voice. She could shrink. She could stay quiet. But instead, she takes that same idea, refines it, and presents it again with boldness. This time, they can't ignore it. Why? Because she didn't let their no become her never. She said yes to her vision, even when no one else did. You see, life isn't designed to hand you green lights all the time. Sometimes, the red light is the best thing that could happen to you. Because it makes you stop, think, and choose yourself. Every closed door is secretly testing one thing. Are you willing to open your own? Think of the author whose manuscript got rejected by 20 publishers. 20 no's, 20 doors slammed shut. But they didn't quit. They self-published. They marketed. They believed. And that book went on to become a global bestseller. Those publishers said no. But the author said, yes, this story matters, and I will tell it anyway. That's what confidence looks like. Not the absence of rejection, but the refusal to let rejection define your worth. Every time the world says no thank you, you get to say, yes, I'll try anyway. Yes, I'm not done yet. Yes, I believe in what I bring. And sometimes the most powerful yes is the one you give yourself. In silence, with fire in your heart, and no audience at all. Confidence isn't just what you say, it's how you show up. It's the way you put on your outfit, the way you hold your head high, and the way you walk into a room without needing permission to belong. It's not just in your voice, it's in your vibe. The world reads your body before it hears your words. So, style it, speak it, strut it. Not for them, for you. Think about the power of personal style. It's not about trends or expensive clothes. It's about expression. When you wear something that makes you feel alive, whether it's ripped jeans, red lipstick, or a sari that reminds you of your roots, that's not vanity. That's energy. That's telling the world, this is who I am, and I own every inch of it. Confidence doesn't wait for approval. It says, watch me shine in what I choose to wear, not what you expect me to. And then there's your voice. Speak it. Every time you silence your opinion to keep peace, you're trading your power for comfort. And comfort zones never birth greatness. Remember that time you had an idea in a meeting but you didn't raise your hand? Or when someone crossed a boundary and you bit your tongue? Confidence is when you say, not anymore. Speak with fire. Speak your truth. Not everyone will like it. That's okay. You're not here to be liked by everyone, you're here to live fully. Every time you speak your mind, even if your voice trembles, you're reminding yourself, I matter. Now strut it. That doesn't mean you have to walk like a model. It means walk like you belong. In your job, in your dreams, in your own skin. Strut with the energy of someone who's already won. Because posture is a language, and presence is a statement. That mother who walks into school after a sleepless night and still holds a child's hand with strength, that's a strut. That teenager who walks into college in thrifted clothes, head held high, while others mock her outfit, that's a strut. That woman who left a toxic relationship, got her own apartment, and dances while cooking in her tiny kitchen, oh, that is a strut. And let's be clear, this energy isn't about arrogance. It's about authenticity. When you style your soul, when your outside reflects your inside, you glow differently. When you speak your truth without fear, your words carry weight. And when you walk like you know your worth, the world has no choice but to take notice. This is not about impressing others, it's about expressing yourself. A girl once told me she was always the quiet one, the invisible one. Until one day she decided to change the story. She bought a bold jacket. She started raising her hand in class. She started walking like she had somewhere to be, even if it was just the library. People noticed, but more importantly, she noticed. She didn't become someone else. She finally became herself loudly. That's the secret. The world will always try to mute you, mold you, make you small. But every time you style it with confidence, speak it with conviction, and strut like you're royalty, you're reminding yourself and everyone else, I'm here, I'm enough, and I'm not hiding anymore. You don't need a red carpet to walk like a queen. You don't need a mic to speak like a leader. You don't need designer clothes to own your power. You just need to show up unapologetically. Every single day, you are the blueprint. The way people treat you isn't always about who they are, it's about what you've allowed. Every time you tolerate disrespect, every time you laugh off a cruel joke, every time you say, it's okay, when it clearly isn't, you're sending a silent message. This is acceptable. But the truth is, you train the world with your boundaries, your standards, and the way you love yourself out loud. Imagine a woman in a relationship where every time she speaks her mind, she's told she's too emotional. She stays quiet, hoping to keep the peace. But silence is never peace, it's permission. One day, she decides to stop shrinking. She says, I deserve to be heard without being dismissed. And the moment she holds her ground, she's no longer just a girlfriend, she's a mirror. She teaches him, you either rise to meet me or step aside. At work, think of that employee who stays late every day, covers for everyone, never asks for credit, and says yes to everything. Slowly, people stop thanking her. They start expecting it. And when she finally says, no, I can't do that this time, they act surprised. But that's not her fault, it's the system she helped create. When she draws a line and sticks to it, when she says, I'm valuable, not available, she's not being difficult, she's being clear. Even with family, this rule applies. You might have grown up in a home where love was conditional, where your dreams were ridiculed, where your boundaries were never respected. And now, as an adult, you still feel guilty for saying no. But here's the breakthrough. You don't owe anyone access to your peace just because they share your blood. When you say, I love you but I need space, or I'm not explaining my decisions anymore, you're teaching them a new lesson known called respect. And let's talk about friendships too. That friend who only calls when she needs something. The one who never shows up when you're down, but always expects you to lift her. At some point you realize this isn't friendship, it's emotional convenience. You don't have to ghost them. Just say, this dynamic no longer feels balanced. I need more. If they walk away, good. You've cleared space for people who match your energy. Teaching the world how to treat you starts with how you treat yourself. Do you cancel on your own goals? Do you speak to yourself like someone who matters? If you don't believe you're worthy, why would anyone else? When you start showing up for yourself, consistent leading well, dressing for yourself, saying no when it drains you, saying yes when it fuels you, you're no longer just existing, you're setting a standard. Picture a young artist who shares her work online. People mock her, tell her she's wasting time. At first she deletes the post, but then she posts again and again and starts saying things like, this is my art, I'm proud of it. Slowly the tone changes. People start supporting. Why? Because she taught them. She didn't beg for validation. She modeled confidence. And people followed her lead. It's not about being aggressive, it's about being unapologetically clear. Every boundary you set, every time you choose your self-worth over acceptance, every time you walk away from something that doesn't honor you, you're giving a lesson without saying a word. This is the level. Raise it or leave it. Because the world doesn't give you what you deserve, it gives you what you demand by example. You see, the truth is, confidence doesn't arrive like magic, it's built. Word by word, step by step, battle by battle. And it starts the moment you decide that you are enough, even when the world tells you you're not. Because no one is coming to hand you a crown, you've got to place it on your own head and walk like it belongs there. It's not about being the loudest in the room. It's about being the most authentic. It's the quiet certainty that says, I know who I am and I don't need you to agree. And let me tell you something. The world cannot resist a woman who knows her worth. She becomes magnetic north. because she's perfect, but because she's real. Because she shows up with her flaws, her fears, her scars, and still, she owns it all. People will try to dim your light because it makes their shadows feel safe. Let them. Because your light is not a weakness, it's a weapon. The moment you stop shrinking to fit into spaces that were never built for you, you start creating your own room, your own table, your own throne. Remember, you were never meant to blend in. You were born to stand out. Every morning, when you face that mirror, you have a choice. To believe the world's noise or to believe your own voice. Choose yourself. Choose to speak love into your reflection. Because that mirror, that's your first audience. That's where confidence rehearses. That's where you look at yourself and say, I'm not broken, I'm becoming. You don't need the whole world to clap for you. Clap for yourself. Applaud your small wins. Celebrate the day you said no. Cheer for the moment you walked away from what wasn't love. That's growth. That's strength. That's confidence in motion. The applause will come, but make sure you don't depend on it. Because true confidence whispers, even if nobody sees me, I'm still powerful. Yes, they will say no to you. Let them. Every no is redirection, not rejection. It's the universe pointing and saying, not here, not yet, not with them. Say yes to yourself in those moments. Say yes to your dreams, your healing, your joy. Because you weren't meant to beg, you were born to build. So, style it, speak it, strut it, because the way you carry yourself teaches others how to carry you. Walk like every sidewalk is your runway. Speak like every word you say is a declaration. Dress not to impress, but to express. This isn't about ego, this is about energy. And nothing on this planet is more powerful than a woman who walks like she's already arrived. People treat you the way you treat yourself. So train them. Teach them. Set the tone. Be the standard. Say, I don't do disrespect. Say, I don't chase, I attract. Say, I am not for everyone. But for those who get me, I am unforgettable. The mirror is your battlefield. Your silence is your growth. Your yes to self is your revolution. And your walk, that's your signature. Make it bold, make it undeniable. You don't need to be liked to be legendary. You don't need to be loud to be heard. You just need to believe that the fire inside you is stronger than the storms around you. And when that belief becomes unshakable, confidence won't be a performance, it will be your presence. Because darling, the most dangerous woman is the one who needed no one to crown her. She crowned herself. And when she did, the world had no choice but to rise and watch her reign.